Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
Blocked by James. Turned back and forth. Oh, he broke his ankles.
1-1 for Tyson. Batista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
What's going on, Pittsburgh fans? We're excited for another year down in the Steel City. I'm your boy, Brandon.
What's going on, man? It's Rob. He's got the pit gear on.
Damn right. What's up, y'all? It's Mike, man. Let's get to it.
Y'all see it, man. All this black and yellow. And Pittsburgh has never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin since his tenure with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they've made some good acquisitions this year. This team really wants to win now, and it could be Big Ben's farewell tour, so they're trying to go out the right way. And they signed Melvin Ingram in a free agency. They really needed to shore up some help after they're starting two edge rushers. They got Ahkello Witherspoon to man up that third cornerback position. They just traded for him.
The last hole they had on defense.
The last hole they had it on defense. And they also got Joe Schobert. They traded for Joe Schobert after Vince Williams went ahead and retired. And he's a tackling machine. He goes over 100 tackles almost every single year. But they had some big subtractions to this team. They lost Mike Hilton this offseason to in-conference AFC North team, Cincinnati Bengals. That's a huge loss for this team. They also lost their whole offensive line for the most part, which was terrible last year. And Alejandro Villanueva, Matt Filer, Mike Pouncey, and David DeCastro. They also lost running back James Conner, who was injury-riddled last year, did not play very well. They also lost Bud Dupree, who was a huge pass rusher and sack guy for the squad. They lost Vince Williams, like I said before, to retirement. And they also lost Steven Nelson to Philly, who was a really good corner for this team, but he wanted to be off the team, and they granted him his wish. They also had a really good draft, in my opinion. They got Najee to man the running back position, a void they've had clearly since Le'Veon Bell has been gone from the squad. They also got Pat Freiermuth, who they call Baby Gronk. He barely drops any passes, and he's a huge receiving threat in the red zone. They're expecting big things from him, especially with Eric Ebron being in the last year of his contract. They also got Kendrick Green at the center position to replace Marquise Pouncey, and they got Dan Moore, who's looking like he's going to start at offensive tackle to start the year, as Zach Banner's still coming back from a torn ACL last year.
You said their over-under is set at 8.5 wins.
8.5.
And that's crazy. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, not a single one. And then this year they have 17 games, so he can't go 8.5 and 8.5. He's going to have to be 8 or 9 wins. I feel like that's such a good over-under to set at them, because even with that fact being known, like, this team does seem like they have a 500 kind of team. And it really, for me, just comes down to that offensive line. When you look at the way they ended the second half of last season and going into this offseason, losing all those key players, and the offensive line, as terrible as it was last year, it could be even worse this year. There wasn't a single guy who started at least like 8 games last year that's coming back and starting again this year. So they're not only not highly touted, but they're also going to have to find cohesion, and they're really playing with each other for the first time. So that's going to take some time to develop. And as important as the O-line is to football, obviously, that's really the only thing holding this team back. Like, when you look at everything else this team has to offer, now that they got Ahkello Witherspoon, as we mentioned, they have no holes on defense. They have the best defensive line in the game, and you got Big Ben playing like he's got nothing to lose this year in what could be his final season. Najee Harris could be a stud running back, so they could be exciting, but that offensive line is really going to be the key for this team to be successful.
Yeah, there's two things I think about when I think about Mike Tomlin-led Steelers teams that are successful. You got a really good defense, and you got a stout bell cow running back. Last year, the running game was just completely non-existent in Pittsburgh. They couldn't find their guy. The offensive line had issues. But now, they got, I mean, maybe one of the most stout bell cow guys you could really have in Najee Harris. He's coming from Alabama. He's coming from that grit and grind kind of team. I think he's going to bring a really big spark there. And, hey, he's never done it before, so why would he do it now? Let's just keep on continuing the trend, man. If it's an undefeated trend, you got to go with it, right? So I'm going over 8.5 win totals for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their defense could potentially be #1. They could also potentially have a top 5 running back in Najee Harris. I like the mixture of that. Let's go ahead and do over 8.5 wins.
Over 8.5, take it to the bank. Moving on from Pittsburgh, who has an old quarterback, to San Fran, who has a brand new quarterback this upcoming season.
To the Bay.
To the Bay.